welcome. My name is Michael Hansen, and today I'm going to start a new series of games here on my channel. As most of you who follow me probably already know, I really like to do those sort of thinking games or long-term strategy games or survival games. But in this case I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to start a game called Euro Truck Simulator. So let's just go right into the truck, and then I'm going to continue talking for a bit there. So here we are. We are in a lovely looking Mercedes new Actros truck. I'm sitting in there. That is supposed to be me. Now, as you probably know, all of you, let me just get rid of that. Is it F3? No, it's not F3. F2? Yes. So, there we go. As you probably know already, I have a relatively old computer. So, the thing I can do with this computer is quite limited, and I do have what's called promods installed on my computer, and I play with it often. But it simply reduces the computer resources too much that I wouldn't be able to play and record at the same time. That is going to be for a time when I get a new computer. I am not even sure that I can do it with these relatively low graphics settings and the basics. The only thing I have added to this game here, other than the standard DLCs, is the promods, trailers and company names. But other than that, it should be relatively standard. It is standard. But let's go out and see if we got a trailer hatched. We do. Alright. So let's start up the truck. I'm just going to check if my... So let's get started. Set it into gear. So in this game I'm playing with automatic gear on, and as far as I've been told, most truckers in Europe use that automatic gears, not that they're not manual like they mostly do in the US. Let's take a peek. So you might ask yourself, why do I like a game like this? Why do I want to drive around in a truck? The answer is that I really like the scenery, and I think it's contrary to most other games that I play, it's actually a bit of a relaxing game. Yeah, there are some times when you drive around it is pretty stressful, but all in all, I find it to be relaxing. It's a relaxing game. See, we have to go all the way around. Alright, so you can't see it, but right now I have just about 25, 26, whoops. I think I should have been in there. It's, hope there's no one behind us. Doesn't look like it. Let's turn all the way around. So we have to get the trailer in there. That should be relatively simple. Perhaps. Almost got it. Oops. So let's deliver this trailer, and then I'm going to continue talking about this game. So we got excellent. We didn't go very far. Alright, so the general idea of this game is pretty straightforward. At first you have absolutely nothing other than yourself. We got a mail, so let's check it out. Brand new Mercedes-Benz trucks for sale. Alright, glad to hear it. I don't have the money. But at some point we're going to drive a bit around. And then we get money down here so we can lend them at the bank. And so the idea is that you buy a truck, you do the work, you can see it here. Yeah, you have this. I don't have any skills here, but you get more skills you increase your rating. And when you do that, you can drive longer. You can take different kind of jobs. We're going to see that as we progress in the game. And also added a couple of versions ago, you can buy your own trailers. So that's pretty neat. But at first, we're just going to do quick jobs where we get the truck and we get the trailer. And our job is just to go from A to B to deliver the goods. So we are currently in Copenhagen, so let's select Copenhagen. And straw bales sounds interesting. From Copenhagen to Odense. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, right? Yeah, I'm from Denmark, and that is why driving around in Europe is actually quite interesting for me. I was on a vacation last summer where we drove, my wife and I and our 2 children, all the way from, not Copenhagen, but more like Gässer, all the way down to Germany. We went down through Austria and then down to Italy. All the way down here we went through what's called the Brenner Pass, all the way down to a little city, little place just outside Rome. I think it was 50 kilometers something. So that is why it is somewhat funny for me to drive around in Europe in a truck, but also being able to drive around in Denmark, that is pretty neat. But for those of you who are interested, Copenhagen in Danish is København, and this city here, which I have heard a funny guy called Arthur Chapman, he called it Odense, but it is actually pronounced Odense. But nevertheless, I have set it to give us the price per distance. I think that's the most reasonable setting because we want to get the most money of our driving around. And yeah, this is going to be a relatively short trip, so oh, it's a double hanger. Oh, let's do it. I really enjoy this, so let's do it. Take the job. So this is a Volvo. I haven't driven a Volvo before. I think that should be okay. So let's turn on the light and go on our merry way. Let's just check to see if there's anyone around. No. And then you can see me drive over what is called the Great Belt Bridge. I think actually I made this wrong as well. Yeah, I got the parking brake on. So let's get going. Now, one of the things that I have learned, actually, one funny thing is that I follow this guy called Arthur Chapman, and he has his own channel where he plays both this game and also American Truck Simulator. And one of his followers who chatted with him while they were playing said that in the US they don't have to be that good drivers because the roads are so big. But he said that Europeans, because our roads are so narrow and because our roads are so narrow, we have to be good drivers, otherwise we would drive into things all the time. And I know that this game doesn't represent reality basically to any extent. I wouldn't dare to what do you call it, to claim that. But one thing it does represent pretty good is the fact that the roads are pretty narrow here. They're tight. So we're going to take a left. Oh, we can do 70. Alright. Oh, please don't say that when my trailer is stuck. Got it. So now we're just going to get on the highway. A motorway, as we call it in Denmark. Which is funny because we are actually in Denmark. Let's see if I can make this turn without getting getting that trailer stuck again. Like I said, it's not easy driving around here. At least not with a double trailer like I'm driving around with right now. Also, I still have a bit of a sore throat. My voice doesn't sound as horrifying as it did yesterday, but I still do have it. So let's go to 80 kilometers per hour and let's just cruise nicely out there. And I think after we have concluded this trip, I will end this episode and prepare for the next one. Those of you who are a little bit familiar with Denmark would know that we have one of the largest hanging bridges in the world. It's called the Great Belt Bridge, or Storebæltsbroen in Danish. There you see it, or you see one of the pillars. And it looked like someone who was going to measure our speed. Fortunately, we are not going too fast. So I'm going steady on 20, 21, 22. Yeah, I know. Give a man a break. So I'm going steady on somewhere between 28, 27, 28, something like that, all the way down to 22 frames per second, and sometimes with a major lag, just like that. But I think it's just on the right side of the border of what I think is reasonable to put out in a video. So for those of you who are interested, I am driving with a Logitech Driving Force GT Pro. Perhaps it's just GT Driving Force, not a Pro. And in my opinion, it's a fairly good and reasonable steering wheel. Not too fancy, but it's okay. What I'm going to change when I get the money for it is the parts in my computer, so that I can put out a steady 30 frames per second video, and I can perhaps make videos of some of the more graphically and computer-wise demanding games. Because I do think that the bottleneck of my computer is not so much the graphics card, I have Radeon HD 6870, so it's a reasonable okay, a little bit old but reasonable okay card. It is the old quad core. It's called a Core 2 Quad and 9550 Q9550, I think it is. And also I only have 4 gigs of RAM. At the time I bought this computer, I actually found out that my computer is more than, or a little bit less than 10 years old. It's incredible to think about. In these days, a computer could be considered obsolete after 5 years. So I'm pretty surprised that my computer could handle it for this much time. It could. So back to the game. I think, if I remember correctly, that we have to drive these trips here 2 or 3 times, something like that. And then we can get a nice little mail from the bank telling us that we are now in a position where they will lend us money. I'm not sure if we have to prove that we can actually make money. And here we are in a city that has to be loaded, and hence my computer lags terrible. Which is some of the things that I think that a computer with more RAM and a bit more fast processor could do a difference with. Not again. For some reason, and I can't really figure that out, I get stuck with one of the trailers, but it doesn't seem like I get any trailer damage. Let's check it out now. No trailer or cargo damage. That's pretty interesting. Alright, so we're almost there. Hey, learn your traffic rules, you fool. So one of the things that you have to consider when you do what I did, I turned down the stability of the trailers, that it is actually pretty easy to tilt your truck and your trailer around. I must admit I have done it quite a few times. Let's see. Yeah, it's the right way. There we go. So, excellent. And got 20 XP. Almost level 2. Whee! So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I really do hope to see you in the next video, where we're going to take another trip somewhere here in Europe. Probably, for the time being, in Denmark. So, thank you and see you later. Bye bye.